Today's podcast I'm so excited for is my friend Kelly Browne. So Kelly's daughter and Georgia are really good friends, which is how I met Kelly. She's such an impressive person. She has been a Hollywood executive. She's been obviously a mom and she's a writer. So she wrote this book called 101 Ways to Say Thank You, and a children's version of the same book. And I wanted to talk to her about it because that gratitude is so important. And I have a daughter who every time she's presented with a stack of names and thank you cards after a birthday party, she's lost. She doesn't know what to say. And Kelly's books are like references. If you got married and you're running out of ideas of how to say thank you in a thank you card, she's got 101 ways of saying thank you. So you can open to the wedding section and just copy out of her book and fill in the blanks, grandma or whomever. And I just thought it was brilliant. And being that it's Christmas, it's the holidays, it's Hanukkah, I thought this was a great gift idea. I know it's kind of getting close to Christmas, but I think I ordered mine and came the very next day on Amazon. So I'm going to put a link to her books on my website under links to great things. So you can go to wifeotp.com, hit the links to great things tab, and 101 ways to say thank you and 101 ways to say thank you for kids will be there. And that link will take you straight to Amazon so you can order. Free water shoes are almost sold out. We only have about 60 pairs left, only in large and extra large. So make sure you get those for the one you love or for yourself for a toasty treat for Christmas. Freewaters.com for that. And there's a link on my website for that also. And I hope everyone's having a great holiday. I think it's Hanukkah now. By the time this airs, you'll be in the middle of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to anyone listening who's celebrating that holiday. Thank you for coming back every week. Thank you for giving me the gift of this podcast, because even though Halston and I and whoever my guest is do the work, you guys come back every week. So thank you very much for that. I wonder if there's a way in the book I could have said that better. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this podcast with the beautiful and inspiring Kelly Browne. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you do too. How are you?
I'm okay. It's just that, I'm used to doing these things on, without picture. And so I'm like, look like the crypt keeper. Oh my God.
You couldn't look like the crypt keeper if you tried.
Oh my God. I saw myself by accident in the window at Target getting into my car, and I surprised myself. That old lady.
You look great. It's nice to see your face. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, right? We're all in lockdown, lady.
I hate it.
I know, me too. It's tough on the kids, I think.
It's really tough on them. This is my new podcast studio. You're my first guest in my new studio. I don't have my furniture yet, but I do have this fabulous wallpaper.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's happy.
It's very me, like bold, a little bit girly, but I do have this Mayan fella here in the corner. He's not going to stay there forever, but
I like it.
It gives me a little bit of
the wallpaper kind of goes, is this the new house?
This is the new house. Yeah, this is the small house at the new house.
Yeah, right. It goes with the vibe of the whole house, I think, that energy. You know what I mean? It looks good. I like it. It's almost like Wizard of Oz, the field of poppies.
They are poppies. I love them. I thought they were so cool. I don't have my couch yet. I ordered my couch, but it's not here yet. It doesn't matter. I can't sit there and talk to anybody yet anyway. So
it's too far back.
It's too
far.
I
think it looks really good. It looks happy. And then it's distinctive to you. I like it.
It is me. Very me. It's a little bit Southern, a little bit.
Right. Right. Anyway. It's nice. I like it. It's strong.
It is strong.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a navy blue velvet couch.
Oh, nice. I love navy.
I love navy too. Navy's one of my favorite colors. I love it. See, I'm wearing navy today.
Yeah, it looks good. I wore black because it just, makes everything else disappear. No one can see. No one can see my My fatness. Does this look bad? I hung these up a couple weeks ago.
No,
Okay.
that's amazing.
I don't want it to look too like, anyway, I don't know.
Oh, you're thinking
on the floor.
Don't think about it too much.
Okay.
You look awesome.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
Thank you. I'm lucky I'm alive. That's how I feel right now. So.
You say that again?
I said, I feel lucky that I'm alive. You know what I mean? Like, it's been such a hard haul.
I agree. We're all pretty lucky. We feel lucky Bert's been able to work this whole time. We feel lucky that we have this second house that the girls are now driving to every day to go to school.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So then they feel like some separation of church and state.
Right.
That's been a godsend for them. We're just so lucky. We're also lucky to be healthy.
It makes a difference to separate them out of their room to do the work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really too much. It's too much.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know. Do you think we'll go back to school this year?
I kind of do. I kind of feel like I want to say by like Easter, maybe after Easter break. But the way the numbers are climbing right now, like it's so catastrophic. And Motion Picture today, they announced they have 7 new cases, and it's just going like wildfire through that nursing home. It's just crazy. So it's just going to get worse. I think it's that time of year where everybody has the cold and flus anyway.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I don't know, like, I think if we all just are really diligent about our own personal hygiene and our own personal care, then we can make a difference.
I think, it's not hard. It's not complicated.
Right.
Wash your hands, wear a mask. Super easy. So, well, hopefully. How was your book signing?
Oh, okay. Are we going?
We've been going, ladies.
I didn't know that. I was just like chit-chatting. Okay. Book signing was great. I feel very, very blessed to be able to walk into a store and sign some books. And can I show you?
I want to, yes.
I wrote this book several years ago. It became a bestseller for Barnes & Noble. And then the other part of the book was the version for kids that I did. Yeah, I did with a different publisher, Cedar Fort. And this is at Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. It's everywhere. But what's so great about this book is that I realized that there was a need for kids to realize that even though it seems like we're different in so many different ways, we are actually the same. We have similar cultural values like coming of age events, quinceañeras, confirmation, bat mitzvahs. And I tried to use this book as a platform to show how we can love and accept each other. Mm-hmm. So I have in here like thank you notes that kids can just sit down and copy right out of the book for birthdays, Hanukkah, Christmas, as I said, confirmation. Thank you note to your coach. Things that are empowering. It's not like the kind of book that you would read cover to cover,
right?
But it was a way to kind of show our kids and teens how we can celebrate our blessings and be grateful for what we have in this world when we can just go to Amazon and click on, chicken and it's delivered to your front door. You know what I mean? We have that instant gratification kind of world. Yes. And if you have grown up with nothing, then, you may appreciate your blessings more than someone who's grown up, having more things in their life.
Right.
My dad was in the entertainment industry. And so there were times where we had lots of, we had lots of things. And then there were times where he didn't work and, the Directors Guild was on strike or whatever. So I quickly realized, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I have a roof over my head, that I have food on my table. And as we go through this time of COVID, I think, you appreciate the things that money can't buy.
Yes.
You appreciate, right? You appreciate your health. Mm-hmm. You appreciate the fact that, even though your children are at home and driving you crazy with school, they're here with you, and you know where they are, and you know they're okay. And so there's something beautiful about that as well.
Yes,
you have to look for the good things.
Yes, glass half full,
I mean?
always. Glass half full.
Right.
Yeah.
And
well, what I think is great about your book, I have ordered your book. It was supposed to be here yesterday, and I got a notification saying it will be delivered today. And so I literally left my house at the 11th minute to see if I would get it before the podcast, and it didn't come because I like to have.
I'll give it to you.
No, it's coming. I guarantee you, as soon as I get home, it'll be on my front porch. But I wanted to at least flip through it, but I didn't get to do that. But here's something with my youngest daughter, which everybody listening knows is dyslexic. And when birthday parties come around, her least favorite part is the thank you notes. And she always says, I just don't know what to say. So if you have a book with lots and lots of things to say that she can open up and copy, eventually those words become natural for her, where she will be able to write those thank you notes on her own when she's an adult. I think that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I had this idea, especially for kids, and that was to get a box, right, for your children and put any kind of thank you notes in it that you want. Like I got these on Amazon. They weren't that expensive. Crane always has beautiful notes. I don't know if you guys know Crane. Ellen Weldon in New York has a ton. And in here, you just put return address. There's this little cool thing called a letter mate where they can
look at
donate
that.
this little thing. Thought that's really fun. And so basically, you just open up the book and go to the gift, and you can copy it exactly. Dear Grandma, I love my Christmas present. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'll use it all the time. Happy holiday, love, Isla. Really something and it makes it kind of, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
This is kind of easy. And so I really just made it fill in the blanks so that it's a lot easier than sitting down and saying, oh my God, what am I going to say? And it doesn't have to be a letter. It's just a couple of lines. And, for kids, even if they drew a picture, but what it does is when somebody gives you a gift, it's that moment, it's like a magical moment where you open it up and you're like, oh my God, it touches you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always have referred to it as the magic of gratitude. And when you send somebody a handwritten note rather than an email or a text message, it creates a different kind of reaction. It's like you're giving it back to them. You touched my heart, and I just want to thank you.
Yes.
So
there's something really special about opening your mailbox and having a thank you card. It's completely different than an email or a text. I agree. I like writing thank you cards when I get a gift because I want someone to know how much I appreciated it. Now, where I grew up, I was always taught if you receive a gift in person and you say thank you in person, there's no need to send a thank you card. That was the etiquette I was taught. So if my grandmother mailed something to me, I would mail her a thank you card. But if she came to my birthday party and I was able to say, thank you for my gift, then I didn't send a card. What do you think about that etiquette?
So I think that you always send a note. I think that it really depends upon the person and the situation. Mm-hmm. If, you're so close to your grandma, she's had such an effect on your life. And I think that you might choose to send her a note because you adore her. You're just giving it that extra bit of icing to say, gosh, it really did mean, if I didn't thank you enough in the moment, I want you to know that you touched me in such a way that's life-changing for me. And also, these people aren't going to be with us forever.
No.
So it is important to take those moments. If you're having a birthday party and you're opening up everything in front of all your friends, what I've done is I've taken a group shot of all the kids and printed that out. And there's some services online where you can send the photo. And I would just write something like, thank you so much for the lovely gift. Having you at our party was such a gift in itself. Love, Ava. Mm-hmm. And that just made it like, even more special. So it really depends.
Yeah.
Trust your gut. That's what I would say. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. And you feel like if it's your boss's wife gives you something, I'd always send a note. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're always different.
I think some people don't know when to send a note. I think that's good to say, if your boss's wife sends you something, always send a note. Yes, I agree.
1,000%.
1,000%. I always like the thank you notes that are indescript and cheap and easy, like your box from Amazon. But I always keep in my drawer a thank you note that means something to me. Like butterflies mean something to me. That's a very meaningful symbol for me. So I always have thank you cards that have a butterfly on them. And so when the thank you means a lot to me, I use that card. And I have other things too. Like I have one thank you card that has just a beautiful landscape on it, because I want to share that beautiful landscape with whomever I'm saying thank you to. So, and that to me makes writing the thank you card even more special and kind of more fun for me. So for my birthday this year, a friend of mine handmade me a piece of jewelry that was so beautiful that I was like, I can't just send her my Amazon. I have to send her one of the really special ones.
Right.
Because that's really special. I don't know, for anybody listening who wants some inspiration about thank you cards, maybe they could do that too.
Absolutely, 100%. I think that also the thank you note you choose represents you, as you're saying. Mm-hmm. And it's your way of making a personal impact. Mm-hmm. And even like your choice of pen, like you're only supposed to use blue or black ink.
Yes.
Right. And I love these because they're a disposable fountain pen. Can you see that?
Oh, nice.
I love these pens. Let me see what they're by. They're Pilot Varsity disposable pens. I love them. So if you're sending wedding thank you notes too, like there's formal thank you notes that they're only white or ecru. But at the end of the day, expressing your thank you is the most important, no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
And, but I hope that our children rise above a text. You know what I'm saying? I hope that it's a little bit more than that, so that they appreciate. So you want that person to continue to give you blessings, right? Give you, remember you on the holidays, your birthday and things like that. Yeah.
When you send that gratitude to the person, you're really sending it into the universe. So what does the universe send back to you? Gifts, right? That's kind of how that cycle works. So if you don't say thank you and for the other person's sake, then, it slows down your receiving or the universe giving to you. That's what I believe anyway. Maybe not everybody believes that, but I do. Gratitude is so important. We spend a lot of time in our family talking about gratitude. Every single night at dinner, we say, what was your favorite part of your day? What was your least favorite part of your day? And what are you grateful for?
That's so important.
Every day, because it is. Even if they're grateful for their grilled cheese sandwich, I don't care what it is. They just have to mark it. And thank you cards. I have this book I call my Bible. It is not the King James Version Bible. It is my book of things that mean something to me, quotes, lyrics from songs, poems, something someone said to me that really hit my soul. And I put cards and anything that means something to me in my Bible. And I have so many thank you cards. So many thank you cards in there. Because they do mean more than just thank you.
Right. And it does give you joy when you go back and you read the things that people said about you and thanked you for. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're having a low day, I would say, and especially right now, like I think your point of having the children do it around the table with your husband is such a magical thing, because it also strengthens the family bond, I think, too. And how lucky we are, to be together during this time. And it also, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It also what?
Well, I just think that, especially now when they're feeling so alienated from their routine of school, and it just makes them more mindful of, hey, yes, you had a very hard day, but let's bring it back into what's in this present moment, what's happening now.
Right.
And it's like, it's going to save them years of therapy. It's the bottom line.
Well, I don't know about that, but maybe it'll make the therapy go smoother. The whole reason I started that was a total covert ops. I wanted to know their least favorite part of their day. That's what I wanted, because I thought I have to have an avenue to find out what's really going on with them. Because, some kids just don't come in and go, Susie kicked me in the shin today. They just don't do that. So I started this when they were probably kindergarten, second grade. And I want to know what's happening at school. And then I put the gratitude piece in because I wanted them to be aware of the gifts they have. They are so privileged. Even, we lived in a tiny 1,800 square foot house in a very safe, very happy neighborhood with excellent public school. That's where they've spent all their childhood. That in and of itself is something to be really grateful for. So those two reasons, I wanted to know what bad was happening because I was afraid they wouldn't tell me. And I've learned so much about hurt feelings or teachers or, fear of softball or whatever from that one moment at dinner. Favorite part, least favorite part, and what are you grateful for? And the grateful for gives me a glimpse into what is going on in their life also.
Right.
Because sometimes I'll say, I'm grateful for my friend Ava because we laughed so hard today on the phone. It made me feel great. And I go, okay, there's her friend Ava. That's a good friend. That makes me feel good. It's my sleuthing super spy skills. So I'd like to say it was this all about gratitude, but it really started out from being a sleuth. I was trying to figure out what was going on with my kids.
But you're trying to also, be mindful of your children's lives and what's going on with them. And I think that, as mothers, we have evolved from where our mothers were and things that weren't talked about and, things that were dismissed. And, we, especially this past year, I think we have evolved more. And I think there's kind of been like a revolution of women having a voice of this isn't okay. This isn't all right, with our schools and Black Lives Matter. And, there's been, in our world, women have stood up and said, hey, I want to do this. I don't like that. And having that dialogue at the table is life-changing.
Yeah, it is.
So it really, really is. So thank you, Leanne, for being a model for me, because I was going to make Ava do this tonight when she went to bed. Make her write down. I was going to say, write down in a journal 3 things that you're grateful for. And you're right. I need to just do it at the table. It's a good idea.
Well, what's really cool about it is Bert and I say, what was our favorite part of the day? And sometimes it's, something really silly. And sometimes it's something they need to know that happened. That's weird to just go, just so you know, Dad sold a book today. When they were little, that didn't mean anything. But when we explain it, that everyone is focused, they all pay attention, they start asking questions. It's very different than just having a conversation in your living room about something. For some reason, it just created this space where we were all kind of seen and heard and appreciated and understood. It's been really cool. We've been doing this literally, I think, since George was in second grade, every single night. It's one of the things that we've seemed to be able to stick to. It's just
right. And also you're looking at each other, which is different than looking at the phone or having dinner and watching television or being on the phone and talking to them, having that eye to eye, soul to soul connection will make them demand it when they get into relationships with, you know what I mean, in their later lives. And it's also respect.
Yeah, it is respect. And I would, I would hope that would be part of the effect of this. It definitely wasn't my intention or conscious intention when I started it. But, we do something else that I think is really powerful that the girls make fun of us for, and they poo poo and they complain. And then every once in a while ask for it. We call them spiritual moments, where when you're having a moment, when someone in the group and the four of us is having a moment, like we were in Bali. This is an extreme example, but we were in Bali and we were at the bathing pools where people cleanse themselves spiritually. And we just stop and hold hands and take in the moment.
Oh, yes.
And we'll say a little prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just move on with our day. And our girls are like, oh, God. Oh, bleh. And they love it. They'll talk about it later.
Right.
But that's something that Bert and I started probably about 5 years ago. That's been another thing that we're just, sometimes you need to stop and mark the moment.
I agree.
And not just let it go on by. How lucky are we that 5 years ago we were living in an apartment and today we're in Bali. We could never have been here 5 years ago.
Right.
We should mark this moment,
Right. But you also made it happen. You work so hard and, good things come when you put that energy toward it, and you keep going. You're not really one that sits around and says, oh God, I didn't get it. And, you just keep going. You just keep going and going and going. It's really inspiring. It is. It's inspiring. You do so much. So even though it's Leanne is out there running this, doing the house, changing the show, running the empire.
I think you are the pot calling the kettle black. I think we are one and the same. You do a lot too.
Oh, well, thank you. But that's also being such a good role model for your girls, and that you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, I think.
And having that mindfulness, I do it in a different way. I will stand there at the beach and say, breathe. Isn't it beautiful? Look at it. Get off your phone. Look at this moment. Get off the phone. I'm going to take the phone away. I'm going to cut it off. And then I've had to shut off their service because they weren't listening. They didn't think I was going to make it happen. But it's true. Like in the old days, we'd be driving to the Grand Canyon, and your parents would say, look out the window. Look out the window. There it goes. Yeah. It's true. Like, it's really important to have those moments with the family, and they'll go back and they'll say, do you remember Mom and Dad stood here? It's marked.
It's marked. That was the point. Let's mark the moment.
Right.
Let's feel the weight of what's happening and the gratitude of that moment, because not many people get to have moments like these. And we even do it when we hike, Fryman Canyon. It doesn't have to be Fryman Canyon. For those who don't live in LA, is like 10 minutes from my house and is a very simple hike, and is, it's like, going down the street and taking a hike. It's not like Bali or anything crazy. It doesn't have to be crazy. I think we've even done it like at a movie theater one time. Bert did it because we were like, when Star Wars came out.
Love Star Wars.
We all went to Star Wars together. We marked the moment because for me and Bert, for our generation, Star Wars was, there was nothing like it before that. Yeah. And so when they restarted the Star Wars here recently, what was that number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7 came out recently.
Yes.
Several years ago. We marked the moment in a movie theater.
Yeah. I'm totally down with May the Force be with you. I say it all the time.
And also with you.
Yeah, thank you. It's exactly. And, just talking about Star Wars, George Lucas had so many spiritual things in his films that were life-changing. Like, what you put your focus on in your life is what your life becomes. So if you're negative and unhappy and ungrateful, that's the kind of life you're going to have.
Yeah.
And, no matter what religion you are, believing in the force, believing in things that are good, believing in God or Buddha or whatever, it's the line of light. It's the line of positive energy. And yeah, that's something, because do you know that that's how I end both my books, is may the force be with you?
No way.
Yeah, I do. I do. I swear to God. Hang on. It's in the other book, but you can look it up when you go home. Yeah. He was life-changing for me. I have to look it up and show you.
Yeah. That's a pretty big deal for me too.
Yeah.
Pretty big deal. Isla's 13th birthday, we had a 36-hour Star Wars marathon birthday party. We started at 7 a.m. We took our couches that are against the wall like this with the TV here, and we put stadium seating with our couches. And I had this huge Star Wars cake made, and all of our food was Star Wars themed. And we watched episode 1 through, 9 in our living room in 36 hours. It was insane. We had so much fun, because even the bad Star Wars movies was so fun in that context.
Oh, yes.
We start at the beginning and we're going to the end. And that's the birthday party. People spent the night, got up the next morning, started again at 7 a.m.
Fun. We were all I was invited. I would have come. It was really a party for you, is really what it was about, right?
Really, maybe.
One time, Han Solo was always like, my biggest crush. And I was working on something at Sony, and I was walking from the office to this soundstage. And all of a sudden I see Han Solo. I'm thinking to myself, he's covered in blood, because he was doing like the movie about the president and the airplane. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, it's Han Solo. And so I start walking, you start walking so fast that you walk faster than them, and he's turning around. And I thought, he's ripped, his clothes are ripped. And like, oh my God, it's Han Solo. Oh my God, I get to the stage. And I'm like, oh my God, I just saw Han Solo. It was crazy. But yeah.
I'll show you a secret. Ready? Use my pencil cup.
Oh my God. Why don't we live together? Like, what?
I don't understand, Kelly.
Oh my God.
So I work out in this room. When I drop squad, I work out in this room, and I keep this cup so that I can see Han Solo while I'm working out.
That's hilarious.
I do. And I go, I can do this. The force is with me. I'm such a dork. But that is what I do. I watch Han Solo when I'm doing squats, and I think I'm going to die. I'm like, no, Hans, we've got the force. I know he didn't
hilarious.
Really have the force, but I think he did.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea. It's so funny. Oh my God. Well, when the next Star Wars thing comes out, we have to, do a FaceTime or whatever and watch it. It's amazing. I just love it. Love it. Love it.
I do too.
So
back to your book. Yeah. How long did it take you to write this book?
So this book, actually both books. So my background is like entertainment development, right? So I worked on a lot of TV shows and movies, and I decided I wanted to be a writer when I got married, like full time. This is what I want to go toward. And so I wrote a lot of thank you notes for the wedding, and people started calling my husband and saying, oh my God, Kelly's notes were amazing. And I thought, well, maybe I should put this together as a book. And so I did. And I went out and do you want to hear this whole story?
I do. Yes.
Okay. And so I started looking for an agent and all of that. And lo and behold, it went to some big publisher, and the publisher said, well, we don't know who she is. She's, a new author. But if she has someone like Crane and Company, behind her, we would be interested. So contacted Crane. Crane gave me an offer to buy it. And Barnes and Noble's Sterling Publishing actually also made an offer. And so they're the ones that bought it. And, I would have paid them to publish it. I just felt like this was so important to help people and change their lives. And I'm really proud of the work that I did on it. And it's broken up into all different categories of your life. And basically you just have to open it up and, copy what's inside. It's not a book. It's not a book you read cover to cover.
Right.
And then
it's more like a reference book, sort of.
Exactly. Right. So if you're in business, there's a business section, there's a wedding section, babies, funerals. There's tons of quotes when you don't know what to say. And then the kids' book was the second half, but Barnes & Noble just wanted to do the adult version.
Right.
So this went to a different publisher. And again, like I felt like I'll self-publish it if you don't want,
right.
So I was really, really grateful. So all three books, the first book was reissued in 2015. So the first book came out in 2008, and it did so well, we updated it for digital.
Oh, okay.
World. And then these two books came out simultaneously. Yeah. So, but Dorothea Johnson, who founded the Protocol School of Washington, she's lived with Tyler's grandmother. She endorses the book with the Protocol School, Crane, and the Etiquette and Leadership Institute.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm super excited. So, but as they say, in Hollywood, you're only as good as your next movie. So, like, now I've got to oh my goodness. So I was telling you, the next thing that I've written is on forgiveness. And it's tentatively titled 101 Ways to Say You're Sorry. And I
don't remember if you told me that.
Yeah.
But I wrote notes and I said, are you doing a sequel called 101 Ways to Apologize?
Oh, that's funny. So
I must have stuck in my head.
Yeah. So with COVID, it's been very difficult to sell anything right now because all the publishers are kind of on hold. So I'm hoping in the beginning of the year that it gets picked up. But I think if you have not gone through difficult life circumstances, that being able to say you're sorry and have that spirit of forgiveness and moving on with your life is difficult unless you've really gone through moments where people have been unkind, or you've experienced a death, or you've been attacked. You know what I mean? There's some really horrible things that can happen in your life, and you can either choose to hold on to it, or you can choose to say, okay, this happened to me. It was horrifying, but I'm not going to allow it to determine how I feel every day.
Right.
And I'm not, it's like, when you experience trauma, it's, a scent, a picture, a color can trigger an anxiety attack.
Absolutely.
So, and going back to what you were saying at the table with the kids and Bert, like, this is about being mindful and being in the present moment and appreciating where we are now. And if I can help people with what I've learned, I hope I can. I hope somebody publishes this book, darn it, or I have to do it myself to see what happens.
They will. It will.
I hope so.
We just have to let everything calm down for a minute. But what's really amazing about apologizing or forgiving is that, sometimes it's hard to see the other person. You only see your own experience or pain or hurt or whatever is going on, which is very real. But a lot of the times, obviously not with some evil things, if someone has evilly perpetrated something upon you, that's a different thing. But if someone has hurt you, and non-intentionally, sometimes it's hard to see that side for people. I think, especially some of that happens in your family culture. Sometimes your family culture is, I do not apologize for everything. Right. I mean, I have a friend whose husband has never apologized to her ever. Now, clearly, there's a point in time when every person has done something to another person in which they need to apologize.
Right.
But that is not his way of living. And I think he's really cheating himself of the experience of forgiveness or asking for forgiveness, because it really does free your heart to ask for forgiveness or to apologize. Really sets you free when you can say, wow, I made a mistake and I apologize. I sincerely did not mean to make that mistake, or I did mean to make that mistake and I see now that was really bad and I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Apologizing, I think, is almost as powerful as saying thank you.
Right.
And it's not easy for everybody. My little girl that has a hard time writing thank you notes has a hard time constructing an apology. She'll say, I'm sorry, but it's not
right.
It's not
the intention's not behind it.
That's right.
Right.
She has a really hard time
yeah.
understanding the need to really be apologetic, not to just apologize, but to be apologetic. Yeah.
So, if you're forcing someone to apologize, then they're going to answer it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm dealing with it myself here with my own 2 children. And, I think sometimes if you give them a little bit of space, like I notice that if I come back, because I'm already crazy out of my mind, upset about whatever it is, like, how do you talk to your sister like that? That's not right. Mm-hmm. I notice if I come back and disengage for a little bit, give it some energetic space. And I say, this is why you shouldn't do that. Or, I know she said this and it wasn't right, but I really want you to understand that if you don't say you're sorry, you're going to create a wedge and a divide. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to see it as a child, but, once you're 50, it's like you look at things differently. You have this wealth of experience. Do you know what I mean? Like,
slightly.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but I'm asking for a friend. But yeah, I'll send you if you want to look at some of the things I put down. Like, it's very difficult, I think, to find forgiveness if you've had a traumatizing event in a family arena, right? And here we are, it's the holidays, right? And you're not talking to certain members of your family. I mean, this isn't about, me or you or whoever, but it's just like in general. It happens that every family, somewhere in the world isn't talking to some family member because of some stupid thing that happened. And sometimes it's a misunderstanding. So, some of the research that I did on this, you can find forgiveness for somebody, but it doesn't mean you have to continue to have them in your life.
Right.
You can find, because the longer that you keep this heavy energy, I hate them.
Me too. Yeah.
It's like, it makes you sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It makes your blood pressure go up. It makes you feel not good. It makes you feel funky. But if you feel like, you know what, I forgive you, I'm not going to allow you to control me anymore. If you want to talk about me and trash me to the family and to my friends, that's your choice. But I can't allow it to consume me anymore.
Right.
So it's almost like when you're in therapy, it's like, I get it. Like, this is like a switch that turns. Mm-hmm. So again, this all goes to teaching our children how to be mindful.
Right.
Right. So and I keep bringing it back to you because that conversation at the table. Hey, how do you feel?
Right.
Hey, I don't know. I never thought about how I felt today. Nobody asks me that. Liam, will you call me from now on and say, Kelly, how was your day? I would like that.
What was your favorite part of your day? What was your least favorite part of your day?
Yeah, it's important.
It is important. But you know what I think some people don't understand is there's a difference between forgiving and forgetting.
Right.
You can forgive someone and never forget, because if you forget how they treat you, then you allow them to treat you that way again.
Right.
You still forgive them. I have, I don't know how much you know about my relationship with my mom, but I have totally forgiven my mom for all our difficult times. And I've forgiven myself for my role in our difficult times. But we don't have a relationship because I can't forget them. And a lot of the stuff that happened with our relationship is so very unhealthy that I can't have that for my children.
Right.
And I can't have their mother have that for them. So I can't forget all my experiences, but I really don't have any anger toward her. I really am grateful for the things I've learned from having her as a mom. And, some of it I could have passed on, but I'm going to try and realize I've always tried, well, not always, but when I got to a certain age, I started realizing how valuable the lessons were that were under the things that happened,
right,
and how that made me the person I am. Most for good, some of it not so good, but it's something that's a work in progress. Every person is till the day you die. So, not forgetting is, I think, very different than forgiving. You can forgive and still, like you say, you can't treat me this way anymore, because
right.
the forgiveness is the freedom for you. There's a great quote by Nelson Mandela who says something like this. I'm going to screw it up so bad, but it's something like this. Resentment is like swallowing poison and expecting the other person to die.
Right.
It doesn't really work that way.
Just gave me the chills, but it's the absolute truth. I mean, you look at, apartheid and how in South Africa they had to face the people that victimized them, and they had to find peace in order to move forward. And you are the change in the world, right? You are the person that makes a difference. And if you hadn't had all those experiences, Leanne, what kind of woman would you be today? I mean, you're fierce, you're strong because of those things. I wouldn't have any regrets and say, oh, I shouldn't, whatever, my part. You were responding to a difficult situation because it didn't feel good, right?
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to have any kind of judgment on anybody, especially yourself, because you responded in a way that, the world thinks you shouldn't have done. Right. I just don't. I mean, It's none of anyone's business, and, it made you the woman that you are. And,
yes.
And all those cracks were filled with gold, right?
Yes.
And it's too bad if no one else can understand that. I'm not available for anyone's judgment personally. That's how I feel.
No, I sleep very well at night.
Yeah.
I don't worry.
Right. And, I think that you're an amazing mom.
Aw.
I do. I think you're an amazing mom, and I feel very lucky to know you.
Well, same to you. I was so funny today. Every time I have a podcast, the girls always say, who are you podcasting with? In my house, I call you Downtown Kelly Browne. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
But I go, funny. Downtown Kelly Browne. And Isla lit up and she went, I love Downtown Kelly Browne.
Aw, that makes me happy. Aw.
I said, yeah, she's the best. She's so fun. She's easy to talk to. She wrote this great book. I was telling her all about what we're going to talk about today. Georgia and your daughter are friends. So I thought it was really cool that Isla has such a positive, her whole face lit up. I love Downtown Kelly Browne.
That's so sweet. I hope Georgia feels that way about me too, because I love Georgia.
Oh, she talked when you guys saw each other, she talked about you all the time. Oh, I think she just loves you, and she loves Ava. They have such a funny, goofy relationship, those two.
Yeah, they do. Georgia's one of her favorites, I must say. Definitely true. Definitely true. They've got a lot of magic about them.
They do. They have a lot of play.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And play, I think, is one of the most important things in life, is to find play. Halston and I were talking about this yesterday, actually, how my podcast feels like play. So I'm having a play date with Downtown Kelly Browne.
I wasn't sure if we were starting or what was happening. Oh my goodness, so crazy.
No, my podcast is about hanging out with my friends and learning something and sharing the people that I care about and that I think are magnificent with anybody who wants to listen, because you are very special. You are a very special person. The
Thank
thing
you.
that you've accomplished in your life and the way that you move through the world is beautiful, and it's so fun to be around, and
Thank you.
positive and happy and light filled and just awesome. So
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I don't feel like that every day. So I feel like a warrior on some days. I feel like people are nervous when they see me coming, because I'm like, come on. Well, so much has happened. So
you are also fierce. So
Thank
people
you.
probably, when they see you coming, goes, here comes that fierce lady, because that's what happens for me. People, some people I see take a sharp left when I'm headed their way. I'm like,
so funny.
Too intense? Maybe too intense for you.
That's so funny. Now, when's your book coming out, Leanne?
Well, funny you asked that, Kelly. I don't think I've talked to you about this, but
I'm hearing the book.
2 people in the same week told me I should take a writing class, right? The second person told me that after I had told her the story about how Bert and I met, and she was like, you need to take a writing class. There's this class called Nonfiction Narrative with UCLA Extension.
Yeah.
And I was like, 2 people in the same week told me about this exact class. And God's talking to me. So I signed up.
Oh my God, that's great.
Tonight is my last class.
Oh my God.
And
that's amazing.
Can I tell you something? It was life-changing.
Yeah.
Sincerely. Because I don't have a college degree. I went to college 4 years, but life disassembled for me in the middle of college, and trauma happened and I left. I couldn't do it. So I never went back and never graduated, which I think is a part of me where writing is concerned. I wrote screenplays for so long, and screenplay writing is super easy. It's like play. It's like seeing 2 people act something out back and forth.
Right.
And that's super easy to put on paper. But writing a book, and I tell these stories about my childhood, and people would go, I've never heard anything like this in my life. You have to write a book about your childhood.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, I don't even know how to start writing a memoir. I have no idea how to do that. So I just took this class, and the class each week was to write a 750-word essay about something real that happened in your life. So I just started writing these stories that I've been telling people about my life. Some of them, 750 words, are not really enough, but that's okay. They didn't need to be a complete story. And last week we were supposed to write about our future plans for, now that we've gone through the class, what are you going to do with what you've learned? And I wrote this piece. I wrote this piece about the validation I got from this class, because every week I would read my piece and people would go, that's the craziest story I've ever heard. I mean, we lived in a log cabin in the woods that had one fireplace, no heat. I had a snake that lived in the bathroom, which we liked because it ate the rats in the house. So we had no rats because we had a snake that lived in our bathroom. And, I don't know. I have all these crazy stories about growing up. And last week I wrote this piece about how validating it was to have 2 UCLA college professors say, you actually really know what you're doing and you have really good stories. And the teacher said, I think you should read this book. This woman just wrote a memoir in essay form, and I think you should read it. And I think you should submit one of your stories to the Moth because you're an excellent, excellent storyteller. And storytelling is a very different art form than writing.
Right.
So, and you are just a natural storyteller. And I think that you should submit one of your stories to be published, and I'll let you know where. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Do you have to do it?
Well, I'm going to follow up with all of those things. But I'd said to Bert, I was like, now I understand my memoir. It's not a memoir. It's a memoir in essay form, because I can bang out stories in 750, 1,000 words like that.
Right.
And then rewrite them and make them longer. But I feel very inspired. I did not miss an assignment. I turned in 750 words every week for 10 weeks in a row. And if I can do that, I can just keep doing that until I have 30 or 40 or however many stories. And so, I don't know when my book's coming out, but
that's crazy. You didn't say anything.
I know I haven't. No.
Yeah. I just heard it. I kept hearing, ask her about the book. So, I think that what's overwhelming is to think of, a 300-page book.
Yes.
And so, like, when you asked me about the 101 Ways book to say thank you, I got up at 5 a.m. and I dated a famous screenwriter, and he had a traumatic incident. And what he did is he would get up at 5 a.m. and write 3 pages a day. Mm-hmm. And that way, before everybody, he had to go to work, then he had made his goal. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did with the Red Book, is I just wrote 3 pages a day until I finished, because I had a baby. And I went back to school at 33 or 34.
Wow.
So I had to leave school for a traumatic event as well. Mm-hmm. And I did go back. So, don't be overwhelmed by going back to school, because you can go to community college online, and you just took UCLA. I went to UCLA Extension too. And that gave me like the inspiration that I could do it.
Yeah.
And not to be intimidated by it. So if any woman listening to this thinks that she can't go back and accomplish it, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Community college is like $65 a class.
Yeah.
And you can, if you don't have the money, like, you can apply for a grant.
Yes.
You can make it happen. You can take one class at a time.
Yes, you can.
So, yeah. And so look at Leanne, with you, like, writing these little essays, you've already started writing the book, because what you're just piecing the pieces together.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I can almost see you writing it like as if you were standing in the room and being a child, and, describing the whole the whole thing, and then almost looking back and thinking to yourself, like, I wish I had known this, or I wish I had known that, and how it changed me and defined me, and the lessons learned along the way. Mm-hmm. Because having the foresight now of saying, hey, my mom, maybe my mom was unstable. Maybe my mom, just because you're a parent doesn't mean you're a good parent, just because there's lots of people that are messed up and they have a child. They don't know. Your baby doesn't come with directions, last time I checked. But this is an opportunity for you to, shed light on what you wish you had known.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you'll help other people.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. Because you're so thankful.
I just, I hadn't thought about it that way. I'd only thought about the entertainment of the stories, but I could actually, that's interesting. Yesterday I podcasted with another mom who was raised by her dad. Her mom passed away when she was 7. And I wasn't raised by my dad, but I sort of was. I spent all 3 months in the summer with him until I was 13. And then I lived with him from 13 on. And I spent my whole winter break, like anytime I was out of school, I was with my dad. So I feel like I was raised by him, and it does change. It changes you, I think, when you are single parent, opposite sex, it has to change you, because it's just a different mindset, different way of moving through the world. So I hadn't really thought about that with my stories, but definitely some of these stories are who I am, are the reason I am who I am, for sure. And I haven't written about my mom yet. The stuff about my mom is just too long. It's way more than 750 words. I'm trying to figure out how to piece it into smaller stories, but I've done that some with my dad in this writing class. I have all these great stories with my dad, but my mom, I think, is too hard. So
it's not that it's too hard. It's that you're not ready to face it yet. You're not ready to walk back through those moments and walk the line and relive it as you were standing there, because maybe some of those moments are painful. But when you do, it's a very cathartic thing to do, because that's when healing comes in.
Right.
And, my mom had a traumatic life experience as well. And she was under heavy, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but heavy morphine. And it was 2:00 in the morning, and they started asking her questions, and she answered them. And I was in shock.
Really?
Because it's like to carry suffering your whole life and be, not feel good about it. Like, you have the opportunity now to shed light on things that hurt you deeply, and to find that healing. And in turn, the people that read your words will be challenged to do the same. So it's just, you're starting the conversation of, hey, this happened to me, and it's okay. Like, I survived it. I'm a better person probably than somebody who didn't, but it doesn't make it okay, but it happened.
Yeah. Right.
And, after that, I aggressively started talking to my mom. She was dying now. Right. And I would say, I love you, Mom. Like, I am so sorry, but did you think that we wouldn't love you? Like, come on. Yeah. And it kind of changed her whole demeanor. And she was kind of free because she wasn't carrying all these like things that she thought she should be embarrassed about, things that she didn't do, things that she didn't cause.
Right. Yeah.
So it is important when you're ready,
right,
to go back and don't be overwhelmed by the 750 word mark. Just write a page.
No, 750 words. I can bang that out. That is easy for me. I'm not intimidated by that. That's my point. When I started rolling in this class, I was like, oh, this is nothing. 750 words is nothing. I can bang.
You have so much to say. Yeah.
I have so much to say. I am a big talker.
It's important. So, as you get there, it's you'll just take it 1 minute at a time. No pressure, but I will bet that you feel a shift in yourself when you start putting what you're carrying on paper and letting it go. And I'll bet that there's 1,000 women that are listening that have had the same experience. There's another book, I don't know if I have it here next to me, but it's called The Artist's Way.
Yeah, I know The Artist's Way.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about it.
I think so.
And, if you're able to, writing is so healing. And, the first chapter, people can Google it. It's in PDF form. It's called The Morning Pages. And if you just write 3 pages a day, just dump whatever's bothering you. And even if you can't talk to your husband or your children or whoever, your girlfriends, you just, whatever it is, dump it on 3 pages, put it in the shredder, put it in the trash, burn it in a fire.
Right.
Just get it out of your body.
Yep.
And start talking.
Yeah. I did that a lot when I was in my 20s. I've been in therapy for a long time. And the first time I was in therapy, I was in my 20s, 23, 4, 5. And I wrote letter after letter after letter to my mom and just burned them.
Right.
I needed it out of my body. And no one's going to see it. But it's like magic when you do that, because it really does get out of your body. And when you have difficult times or even really traumatic times, at least for me, they don't go away forever. But when you write that out, it goes away for a while. And then something in life will happen that will plummet you back into that place. But then you write about it again, or you talk about it in therapy, and then it goes away for a while. I think it's very misleading for anyone to think, especially that trauma goes away forever. Because my experience has been, it does not. But as you get older, you learn how to manage it faster. soothe yourself and help yourself process it through faster so that it's less intense and less affecting for your life. But it never really goes away. And part of me at this age, I am 50, Kelly. I know, asking for a friend. I am 50. But at 50, I feel like, not that anyone wants to have those heavy bags, but that the heavy bags is something to be proud of in a certain way, is something to fully embrace and say, this is part of my whole self and I love all of it. And no, I would rather have not had that happen to me, but it did. And for whatever reason, whatever God had intended for me to learn from this, it's mine. And I own it. Not that it attaches to me negatively, but that it's mine. It makes me, I was talking to Halston about this yesterday too, that as I get older, I get more impressed with myself, not from an ego place, but from a place of like,
I did that. Right.
Good job. That was a good job. I never would have thought I'd been able to do that. And all of a sudden, look what I'm carrying and look what I'm doing. And I'm impressed.
You're not letting it cripple you.
No.
So Ava and I went through trauma therapy. Ava was thrown from a horse and broke her neck. And so it was like,
can't even imagine.
Such a nightmare. And that's another show. But we had to learn, and I had to learn as a parent I was traumatized going through it.
Of course.
And so I had to then figure out how to manage her. And, there is not enough mindfulness education and mental health awareness for our children. There's just not. And as you're saying, like, it's true, even though the event is no longer happening, something will trigger it. It's like a piece of glass. It just triggers it, and you're right back there in that moment, and you can't breathe, and it's devastating. But when you get that set of tools, like having a thank you note box, like what's in your treasure box, your mindful box, well, what makes me feel better? What makes me feel like I'm in this moment? And
it's my Bible.
The Bible. Is it petting your beautiful dog? Is it having a cup of tea or a piece of chocolate, or just touching a tree and saying, this isn't happening right now because I'm here by this beautiful walnut tree and I'm okay. And your breath, breathing, taking deep breaths and calming yourself down. It's amazing how powerful our mind is and how it can just, throw us into another time and place.
Yep. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really, really crazy. Well, I can't wait to read your book.
Well, someday. I've what I wrote in my piece in my class is I'm committing to writing 750 words a week, just for me now. Class is over after tonight, and I'm so busy with the house and everything else that's going on. I'm not going to sign up again in January for the class again. I might do it in the spring if I feel like I want to. But in the meantime, every single week, I got a routine. The class was on Wednesday night. Thursday, I listened to my homework. And Friday, I wrote 750 words. And Sunday, I rewrote them, and it was done. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to write on Friday, reread them Sunday. Write on Friday, reread them Sunday. And just get a good, strong, solid first draft.
Yeah, that's great. How many pages is 750 words?
I think it's not quite 2. Okay,
so that's doable.
Yeah, totally doable. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 weeks. I'm like, okay, if I can do this for 10 weeks, I can do it forever. So no reason for this not to happen. So someday soon. But your book, I think, is an amazing Christmas gift also.
Thank you.
What a great Christmas gift. So I'm going to put a link to both books on my website, wifeotp.com. Yes. And I'll put some swipe ups on my Instagram. And buy for Christmas. I may buy some for Christmas gift.
Oh, that's so sweet. I so appreciate it. That would be amazing. I can even give you some to give away. Do you do that?
No, I'm going to buy your book. I'm going to support you as an author. I'd much rather buy them. Don't give me any books. Give it to someone who who needs them and maybe can't afford to buy them. I will buy them.
Aw, that's so sweet. I so appreciate it. I would love to get this book out there more because it can, I think, affect children and teens and help them in ways that,
I think it's amazing. It's brilliant idea. The 101 ways to say thank you for an adult is what a great resource. But for kids, it's like almost invaluable. That's a great thing. I'm giving both my kids one for their Christmas gift.
Give it to them. I'll sign it and I'll give it to you.
Okay, that's
appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on today.
Oh my God, thank you for having me. Like, what can I send you besides the books? I love it.
Nothing. You just gave me the gift. You were my guest. I love it. I love our conversation. I always love talking to you, Kelly. Always.
I love talking to you too.
I know. So hopefully next time in person.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, I send you big hugs. Tell Ava.
Send you big hugs and tell the girls too.
Same. Okay.
All right.
Till next time. Mwah, mwah.
Thank you, wife of the party.